All right, happy Friday, guys. It is No King's Eve, and I'm really hoping that a lot of people come out tomorrow, which I'm sure they will. But I wanted to go over because tomorrow, for a lot of people, will be the first time that they're protesting. And whether this is your first or 50th, leave whatever tips you have down below. I'm just going to go over the basic 5, okay? Just to make sure that we all stay peaceful and safe tomorrow. All right, now first, let me deal with this. I know that they're deploying the National Guard in a lot of red states. And at first that feels like, oh my God. First off, they're under the state control of the governor. They haven't been federalized. Okay, that means that they can act in the same capacity as your local police, but they still have to respect civil rights to the extent that anybody's respecting those anymore. But my point is they have the same duties, responsibilities, and they are bound by the same rules as your local police. Of course, they're going to send the National Guard in the red states because they want to make sure that anybody who's a blue dot in a red state like myself feels extra intimidated to show up. Obviously, if they didn't send the National Guard, it wouldn't make sense, right? Because they're on TV talking about how, oh, it's going to be this Hate America rally, this, that, and the other. So, yeah, of course they're going to send the National Guard. That's just to fit their narrative. If it stays peaceful, that doesn't matter. Who cares? Let them be there. Now, the biggest problem tomorrow is going to be coming up against somebody who's maybe out there trying to antagonize you, right? Trying to start something with you. And I would deal with them the same way as I deal with them in my real life, which is let them talk, and then literally dead silence for like 5 to 7 seconds, because it kind of like neutralizes them, and it also makes them think, what's wrong with this person? And it just gives that little beat for you to catch your breath, and then you can just go, okay, is that everything you had to say? And then when they're done, just go, interesting, or okay, and turn around and walk away. You don't need to engage with these people. Whatever their grievances with you isn't going to be battled out verbally tomorrow. That's not the point of the protest. So do not engage. Don't feed their little hate monsters one little crumb. And I'm sure you guys have all heard this, but this is a very effective tactic. If you're out there and someone starts destroying property, which I'm sure that there will be some level of provocateurs out there tomorrow. I mean, I would assume that there would be. Otherwise, how do they sell this narrative? All you guys have to do, you don't have to do, don't touch him, don't anything. Notify one of the people that's there, one of the safety marshals, okay? And then everybody around the person just sit down and just put one hand up in the air. Because that tells the police visually, even if you didn't have a chance to tell them, oh, there's a problem over there. And that isolates the person that's making the problem, and it makes it very clear that you were not involved, that nobody was involved. Everything tomorrow is going to be about optics. Aerial optics, right? They're going to be recording, flying choppers over, trying to get any kind of footage of any little incident. So whatever happens, you need to make sure that you immediately, just all of you turn around, sit down, put a hand up, and just wait for someone to come over and deal with it. All right, then we have, of course, the line of police are up against that, okay? You have a couple options there. Now, there was a guy, he's a lawyer, and he was, I'm sure you guys have seen the video. He was talking into a megaphone, and he was saying a list of things. I wrote out everything that he's saying, and if you go to AskRafaela.com, it's like the 5th or 6th link down. It says something like, non-violent de-escalation protest speech or whatever. Put that on your phone, all right? Because in that way, whoever has the megaphone can just be saying this, all right? They don't have the right to legally break up the protest unless they're telling you why. They have to give you a clear path of exit, and they have to give you a stated timeline within which to comply. All right. So if they start moving towards y'all, they're not giving any verbal commands. You can respond verbally with any of the sentences from that. And I'll give you a few here in a second. You can lock arms. All right. I'm not saying push back against them, but you can lock arms. You can all sit down. You could kneel. You're saying, look, we're not being violent. Make sure your hands are up so they can't say that you were, that you had things or that they thought you had weapons. Again, everything is about the optics tomorrow. So you can say things like, we do not understand what law you're invoking to disperse this protest. We're exercising our First Amendment right. You appear to be threatening violence. We are not threatening violence. Things like that. You're calling them to account. Like, what is it you want here? Like, who cares if they stand there and they want to act intimidating? They have to give an order that has to either be obeyed or you're allowed to verbally push back. Part 4, this is not the one that anyone wants to happen, but if it does happen, if you get arrested, okay, do not resist. Do not resist arrest. I don't care how much you want to, how unlawful you think it is, which it probably would be. Do not resist, because you can create a legal liability for yourself, an exposure. All right. So you just, okay, great. They can arrest you. You have a right to just say, I'm exercising my right to remain silent. I do not consent to a search of anything. I mean, they're allowed to pat your person down, but they can't search your bag, your phone, nothing. do not have the legal right to do that, all right? And you can ask for a lawyer because you're an American citizen. If they're arresting you, supposedly you've committed a crime, which means you're allowed to have access to a lawyer. It is important to say that a lot of protest arrests, again, optics, right? It's not, they're going to arrest you and then they're going to let you out without charges. A lot of the times that's what happens, all right? But regardless, do not resist arrest, because then they can be like, oh, you were resisting arrest, or charge you, say that, you assaulted a police officer. We do not need any of that noise. All right, and then just some extra bonus tips, all right? If you're going with a group, make sure that you have a rally point, right? Where you guys agree, if we get separated or if something happens, we're all going to meet at this one place. Because when there's a big rally, a lot of times not only can you not hear, if you're trying to call, you just can't get a signal because there's too many people making phone calls, all right? And then also, I would say that it's a really good idea for tomorrow, American flags. Like, I know we all have our other flags, whatever, but because they're trying to say this is a Hate America rally, I would really say that it is super, super important that they see a sea of red, white, and blue tomorrow. Because again, optics. You have to remember that a lot of people are going to be seeing this from 30,000 feet, not literally, probably like 500 feet, but aerial drone footage or helicopters flying over. And if it looks like a sea of red, white, and blue, it's going to be really, really hard to paint that as an I Hate America rally. And one more thing on the getting arrested thing. I would say that it's a good idea for everybody to write like 1 to 3 phone numbers. The first one, if you only write one, would be your emergency contact, okay? And that's the person that knows what to do in the event that you are arrested. Write that somewhere on your body where nobody else can see it, because you don't know what might happen. Your phone might get separated from you. Your battery might be dead. Unless you have that number committed to memory, just write it down on your skin. Anyways, you guys, share this. Get out there. Be bigger than your fear. If you didn't see my video that I did earlier today, I was talking about like the reasons that they can't charge you with domestic terrorism just for protesting. And I was going through the legal, like the actual law that they would have to be able to charge you with, and why it's completely not even possible, providing that it stays peaceful. Again, everything tomorrow is about optics. I've literally said that like 15 times because that's true. So we all have to collectively be super, super careful about making sure that if someone is bringing the temperature up, you got to bring it back down. That is not what tomorrow is not about. Fighting with MAGA or converting MAGA, because that's not even possible anyway. This is about us coming together to say to this administration, see all these people here? We are not afraid of you. All right? So get out there, be safe, stay peaceful, and see you probably late Saturday night.